And thank you also for being here. I was told this was a rally in favor of the Second Amendment. What a bunch of hopeless liberals. Let me just say, you are looking at a member of Congress who I believe arguably can attribute his re-election last November to the fact that there were a plurality of people in his district who favor reasonable gun control laws. And the reason I won my re-election when everybody around me was losing was on the gun control issue, but it was also because of a confluence of events. Now, a little background. The NRA is headquartered in my district. Now, I don't always feel the love. Before I went to Congress, I was chairman of Fairfax County, and I was on record as chairman as favoring reasonable gun control laws, keeping guns out of rec centers, keeping guns out of, houses of worship, restaurants, and the like. And for some reason, this was just a horrible thought, and taking away Second Amendment rights and the like. I beg to differ. I think they're reasonable. No one proposed to take away anyone's gun, but you know what? There are some places where it's not appropriate, and it scares people, and especially in an urban area, in a congested urban area. People with families actually don't like seeing, people packing heat when they're having, their eggs over easy at Denny's, and so I guess we're all radical people who want to take away gun rights, right? But the issue, obviously is a very serious issue, and I was chairman of Fairfax County when the Virginia Tech tragedy happened, the single worst gun tragedy in a campus in America, 32 dead, 8 of them in Fairfax County. We buried 8 young people in Fairfax County, including the shooter. And that was a very hard thing for our community. And what shocked me was that the PR machine of the more radical elements of gun advocates got to work right away. If they'd only been packing heat. If every one of those kids and every one of those teachers had only had sidearms or worse, maybe they could have, gotten the gunman faster or sooner. And but what was very interesting was that many of the family members of our lost young people got very active and started to, they carried a lot more validity in the community than others of us, and they made a difference. Okay, so fast forward. It's the election last year, and it's a tough election if you're an incumbent Democrat to begin with. And mine is a swing district, and but it is a pro-reasonable gun control majority district, which some people keep on forgetting. And I had the same problem as many of my Democratic colleagues in swing districts. Most of them lost. There were 4 competitive districts held by Democrats in Virginia, and Dick Sassler will remember. 3 of the 4 lost, including one longtime veteran, Rick Boucher. So, I had a big target on my back, and the weekend before the election, my opponent was seen in a television interview saying, if only those kids had been packing heat in Virginia Tech, they might have lived. But because of by the way, this was an interview that he had done in June. I had also been interviewed by that show in June. And of course in June no one paid any attention. But by October, people were paying attention. And the media got a hold of this and decided to actually, for once, ask, what do you mean? And I actually didn't have to do much. I did comment, what in the world were you thinking? Saying something like that. But I let the media carry it, and my opponent made the mistake of deciding that the way to answer that question was to run away from the media physically. So, of course, that kept the story alive the whole weekend before the election. Video of him running down the street with a bevy of reporters, with cameras and trying to follow him to say wait, and getting in the car, closing the door real fast and sneaking up, and so that that kept the story alive. But also, just coincidentally, Mike Bloomberg, the mayor of New York, decided that my race, because of my support for legislation to close the gun show loophole, let's help him. And I might add, the gun advocates, gun control advocates, were the only good guys who did anything in my race. I mean, in terms of getting on television and doing something. The environmentalists all went to the beach. Labor decided to talk to each other and nobody else. By the way, we lost 40% of the union households, but I'm sure it worked. But of all people, the gun control advocates came to the rescue. Mike Bloomberg, the mayor of New York, helped finance an ad that allowed us to pretty much saturate cable the weekend, just coincidentally. So all this came together, and I am sure, to be honest with you, that a race that probably was about to drop, because everyone else's did, stopped. And I think particularly, if you're a political scientist, particularly among independent, moderate women in our district, that gun control thing did not go down well. And that stopped his momentum and allowed me, frankly, to pull out a win. And that's a very significant achievement. And I just wanted to tell you that because I think we ought to have hope. The conventional wisdom, especially, frankly, on my side of the aisle, that, oh my God, don't even touch that issue, we've lost it. Wait a minute. What do you mean? I actually won re-election because of the gun issue. And we can prevail. We can resonate with our message with the public. But we got to have the stick-to-itiveness to do it, and we got to put resources behind it. It's not good enough to say thank you so much for your vote, and here's a check for $250. Good luck. I hope you get reelected. We got to be more serious about it. We really do. The other side is, but if we are, I'm telling you, we can have results, a lot more results like mine. You've got the Senate Majority Leader of the Commonwealth of Virginia, not Massachusetts, Virginia, who's here tonight. Think about that. And one of the 11 members, and I know there's at least two others, that support reasonable gun control. And that's in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So we do have material to work with, but we have to fight back. And so my message is one of hope, because I'm living proof that your support and that of Mayor Bloomberg actually really made a difference. And so did the story of the tragedy of Virginia Tech and the testimony and witness of the families who suffered losses. And it turned public opinion around in at least one congressional district, and it makes a difference. Thank you for having me here today.